Hello, this is Abby from OllieHolly.com. In this video, I'll be showing you how to crochet Jigglypuff's body. If you would like to follow along with the written pattern, you'll find the free pattern on my blog. If you would like to print out a copy, you'll find the printable PDF in my shop. The PDF includes extra instructions for felt eyes, as well as more information on the velvet yarn I used. You'll find the links in the description box down below. Here are the things I'll be using to create my Jigglypuff. I'm using Paintbox Yarns Cotton Aran in Ballet Pink and Misty Gray. 12mm safety eyes with their matching backings. Black embroidery floss. A stitch marker. A darning needle. Pins to help with sewing. A pair of scissors. And a 3.25mm crochet hook. Before I get started on the pattern portion of this video, if you are new to amigurumi or crochet, I highly recommend you watch my Amigurumi for Beginners playlist before attempting to follow along with this video. I'll link it here and in the description box down below. If at any point this video feels a little bit too fast for you, the videos in that playlist should help you out. Anyway, without further ado, let's get started. The first thing I'll be working on is the head/body of Jigglypuff. With my Ballet Pink yarn, I'm going to start by creating a magic circle. To make a magic circle, I'm holding the tail end down with my thumb. Then I'm taking the working end and wrapping it around my fingers, crossing it over the tail end to create an X. Then I'm turning my hand over, inserting my hook under the right loop and over the left. Then I'm pulling the left loop under the right loop, then turning the hook up towards me. Then I'm yarning over with the working end and pulling it through the loop on my hook. The stitch I'll be working with in this video is the yarn under single crochet stitch, or the X stitch. To make the yarn under single crochet stitch, I'm inserting my hook into the magic circle. Then I'm yarning under to draw a loop up. Then I'm yarning over to finish off the single crochet stitch. Typically, when you create a standard single crochet stitch, you're inserting your hook into the circle, then you're yarning over. But in this case, I'm yarning under first, then I'm yarning over to complete the single crochet. Make a total of 6 single crochet stitches in your magic circle. The yarn under single crochet stitch is a little bit tighter than the standard single crochet stitch. Now that I have 6 stitches, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I'm going to pull on the tail from the magic circle to close up the circle. In round 2, I'll be increasing into each stitch from round 1. This means that I'll be working 2 single crochet stitches into each stitch. So I've inserted my hook into the first stitch of the round and I'm working a single crochet stitch. Then I'm inserting my hook back into that same stitch. I'm working another single crochet. I also like to place a stitch marker on the first stitch of each round to help me keep track of where the beginning of the round is. Continue increasing in each stitch until you get to the end of the round. You should have 12 stitches by the time you are done with round 2. In round 3, I'll be increasing the round by 6 stitches for a total of 18 stitches. To do so, I'm going to alternate between working one single crochet and increasing in the next. So for my first stitch here, I'm working one single crochet stitch and placing a stitch marker on the stitch to mark the beginning of the round. Then in the second stitch, I'm increasing. After that, I'm going to just keep repeating between working one single crochet and increasing all the way around until I get to the end of the round. In round 4, I will once again be increasing the round by 6 stitches. But instead of just working 2 single crochet and increasing, I like to stagger where the increases sit so that the circle turns out to be a little bit more round instead of hexagonal. So this means that I will start off by working one single crochet into the first stitch, increase in the next. Then I'll be alternating between working 2 single crochet and increasing all the way around until I get to the second to the last stitch. So I'm working one single crochet into the first stitch, placing my stitch marker to mark the beginning of the round, increase in the next, then I'll be alternating between working 2 single crochet and increasing. So that's 1, 2, increase. You can pause here to work the rest of this round, and I'll meet you at the end of the round. Then into the final stitch, I'm just going to work one single crochet. In round 5, I'm going to be alternating between working 3 single crochet stitches, then increasing, working that all the way around until I have a total of 30 stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3, increase. I'm just repeating that all the way around. Pause here to work the rest of this round, and I will meet you at the beginning of the next round. In round 6, I'll start off by working 2 single crochet stitches, increasing, then I'll be alternating between working 4 single crochet and increasing all the way around until I get to the end where I'll work 2 single crochet. So that's 1, 2, increase, then 1, 2, 3, 4, increase. Pause here to continue alternating between working 4 single crochet then increasing, and I'll meet you at the end of this round. Then in the final 2 stitches, I'm just working 1 single crochet into each stitch. In round 7, I'll be working 5 single crochet and increasing, then repeating that all the way around for a total of 42 stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, increase. Pause here to work the rest of round 7, and I will meet you at the beginning of the next round. For rounds 8 to 12, so that's 5 rounds, I'll be working 1 single crochet into each stitch. Pause here to work rounds 8 to 12, and I will meet you at the beginning of round 13. After rounds 8 to 12, your piece should look like this. For round 13, I will be working 3 single crochet, increase, then I'm alternating between working 6 single crochet, then increasing all the way around. Then in my final 3 stitches, I'll just be working 1 single crochet into each stitch. So that's 1, 2, 3, increase, then I'm working 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then increase. Pause here to continue working the rest of this round, and I will meet you at the end of the round. In these final 3 stitches, I'm just going to work 1, 2, and 3. For the next 2 rounds, rounds 14 and 15, I'll be working 1 single crochet into each stitch. Pause here to work rounds 14 and 15, and I will meet you at the beginning of round 16. Before starting round 16, I'm going to insert the safety eyes. I'm going to pull my hook up a little to loosen the loop and remove the hook. The beginning and the end of the round is the back of my piece, so this part here will be the front of Jigglypuff's face. For the eyes, I'm going to be inserting them between rounds 11 and 12. So I'm just going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. I'm putting a pin between rounds 11 and 12 to act as a guide. Then I'm going to be inserting one of the safety eyes into any stitch here. Because the stitches are a little bit tight, I'm going to use my hook to open up this hole a little bit so that it's easier for me to insert the safety eyes. Then I'm going to count 6 stitches, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And because the eyes are pretty big, I'm counting 1 more stitch. And this is where I'll be inserting the other eye. There should be 6 stitches between the eyes. And because this looks pretty good to me, I'm going to snap the backing in. Once the eyes are in, I'm inserting my hook back into the loop and pulling on the working end of the yarn to tighten the loop around my hook. Then I'll be continuing with round 16. In round 16, I'm going to start decreasing. To do so in this round, I'm going to be working 3 single crochet stitches, decreasing the next 2. Then I'm working 6 single crochet, then decreasing. I'm repeating that all the way around until I get to the final 3 stitches where I'll just work 1 single crochet into each stitch. So that's 1, 2, 3. Then to increase, I'm inserting my hook into the front loops of the next 2 stitches, drawing a loop up and completing my single crochet. So here I'm inserting my hook through the front and out the center of the next stitch to go through the front loop only. Then I'm inserting my hook into the front loop only of the stitch next to that. I'm yarning under to draw a loop up through both of those front loops. Then I'm yarning over to complete my single crochet stitch. So now I've just decreased those 2 stitches into this 1 stitch here. Now I'm going to work 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then in the next 2 stitches, I'm working a decrease stitch. So I'm inserting my hook through the front loops only of the next 2 stitches, yarning under to draw a loop up, then yarning over and drawing it through the 2 loops on my hook. Pause here to continue working the rest of round 16, and I'll meet you at the end of this round. Then in the final 3 stitches of the round, I'm just working 1 single crochet into each stitch. In the next round, which is round 17, I'll be working 1 single crochet into each stitch. So pause here to work round 17 and I will meet you at the beginning of round 18. In round 18, I'll be alternating between working 5 single crochet stitches, then decreasing, all the way around until I have a total of 36 stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, decrease. So I'm inserting my hook through the front loops of the next 2 stitches, then completing my single crochet stitch here. You can pause here to continue working the rest of this round, and I'll meet you at the beginning of the next round. In round 19, I'll start off by working 2 single crochet, decrease, then I'll alternate between making 4 single crochet and decreasing, all the way around until I get to the end where I'll work 2 single crochet. So that's 1, 2, decrease, then I'm working 1, 2, 3, 4, and decrease. Pause here to continue working round 19 and I'll meet you at the beginning of round 20. Before I continue with round 20, I'm going to start stuffing the head lightly while the hole is still big enough. Here I have some polyfill, and I like to loosen it up a bit so that it doesn't get too clumpy in the amigurumi piece. For this, I like to stuff it in slowly in layers. Also, at this point, I'm only going to stuff this about halfway because I'm still crocheting, and I don't like it when it's stuffed all the way and my hook catches on the polyfill. When I'm stuffing, I like to pack it down in thin layers, and I'm actually using this part of my fingers to stamp it down a little. So I'm just slowly packing in loose fluffy bits of the polyfill. At this point, I'm not looking to stuff this piece fully. I'm just putting in a little bit so that I can get started for now. In round 20, I'll be alternating between working 3 single crochet stitches and decreasing, all the way around until I have a total of 24 stitches for the round. So that's 1, 2, 3, decrease, and just continue working 3 single crochet and decreasing all the way around. Pause here to work the rest of round 20, and I'll meet you at the beginning of round 21. In round 21, I'll be working 1 single crochet in the first stitch, decreasing the next 2. Then I'll be alternating between working 2 single crochet and decreasing, all the way around until the final stitch, where I'll work 1 single crochet stitch. So that's 1, 2, decrease, then I'm working 1, 2, decrease. Pause here to work the rest of round 21, and I'll meet you at the beginning of round 22. Before starting the final round, I'm going to stuff the head a little bit more fully. What I like to do is use my fingers to slide the stuffing down the sides, and also I like to try to pack the polyfill in as much as possible. I personally like to stuff my amigurumi toys really fully, while still making sure that the stuffing isn't showing through the stitches. And now at this point, I'm going to start working the final round. I'll likely have to stuff this piece a little bit more before closing the hole, but I'll stop here for now. For round 22, which is the final round, I'm going to work 1 single crochet, then decrease, all the way around until I have a total of 12 stitches. So that's 1, decrease, 1, decrease, just continue that all the way around. Now that I'm done with the final round, I'm just going to cut the working end of the yarn, leaving roughly a 6-inch tail. Then I'm pulling my hook up to pull the tail through to fasten off. And at this point, I'm going to stuff the piece a little bit more before I close the hole off. Like I said a little bit earlier, I like my amigurumi toys fully stuffed. Now that I'm happy with the amount of stuffing I have, I'm going to thread the yarn tail onto my darning needle. I'm going to close the hole off. To do so, I'm inserting my darning needle through the front loops only of each stitch, going all the way around and pulling the tail through each front loop. After threading the tail through the front loops of each stitch, I'm pulling on the tail to cinch up the hole in the center. Then I'm going to weave my tail under the center circle here and pull through. If the hole is still a little bit too big, you can pull on the tail a bit more to tighten that hole up. Then I'm just weaving it under the center circle a couple more times. Then in through the center and out the back. To hide the tail, I'm going to cut the tail as close to the piece as possible without cutting any of my stitches. Then I'm just squishing the piece to hide the tail. Whenever you finish an amigurumi piece, it's typically a good idea to shape the piece by squishing it between your palms, just so that it could have the proper shape. And that's it for part 1 of the Jigglypuff tutorial. You'll find parts 2 and 3 in the Jigglypuff playlist on my channel. Thanks so much for watching and subscribe for future tutorials. Bye bye!